صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وفقها في الدين يا رب العالمين وألحقنا بعبادك الصالحين. يقول الله عز وجل: يطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون. Here, today is a new chapter regarding children. If a person, his children pass away, then there is great thawab, reward in that. As we will go through the hadith, we will see for ourselves, inshallah. A person must not think that just because his son or his daughter passed away, it is something of great grievance. Of course, naturally, as a parent, a person will feel sad. But he mustn't be upset to the point that he starts complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? He must be happy. Why? Because he's a ma'soom child. Sinless. Sin-free. He doesn't have no sins. And that child will be a cause of the mother or the father, both of them, to be pulled into Jannah with that child. Inshallah. Okay? Of course, that doesn't mean just because a person's children pass away, 2 or 3 of his children pass away, a person says, I'm Jannati now. I don't have to do anything. This is completely false. This is completely false. A person has to do his own effort. The mother has to do her own effort to fulfill Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's laws. Shahada comes first, Salah has to be on time, Qada Salah has to stop, Salah has to be on time. The instruction is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not from anyone else. 5 times Salah must be on time. Then you have Sawm, fasting the whole month. Then you have Zakat. You have to give your Zakat financially, monetarily. If you don't give your Zakat, Jahannam is waiting for us. The snakes in the qabr inside is waiting for us without Zakat. And then you have Hajj. So many people neglect Hajj. They go to the age of 60 and they haven't performed Hajj. 70, they haven't performed Hajj. 80, they haven't performed Hajj. This is disgusting. A person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives life of 60 years and you are unable to fulfill one great fard of Islam. Something that distinguishes yourself from other people. Allah asked you only one thing to do, which is quite big when it comes to providing some money and your health, and you couldn't do it. You could do everything in the world. You could go and work from 4 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock in the night. 18-hour shifts, 2-3 jobs, but you couldn't go to Allah's house. What type of a mahroom is that person? How deprived is that person? So everyone that hasn't done Hajj, they must do Hajj whilst they're young and vibrant, whilst you have the money, whilst you have the health. After health is gone, there's no point of doing Hajj. You're going to struggle. You're going to go with a wheelchair. What Hajj are you going to do? You understand? Go now. Don't delay. Anyone that has the money, don't delay. You don't know what's going to happen in your life. Anything can happen. To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what are you going to go and say? I had 10,000 pounds in my bank account, but I couldn't go Hajj. This is not an excuse. Hajj is not an excuse. Those who didn't do Hajj, unfortunately our Bengalis, they take it very leniently, very less seriously. So Bengalis need to wake up. Those sasas that haven't gone for Hajj and on the verge of dying, they need to go for Hajj. And those whose parents haven't gone to Hajj, or dadas or sasas or mamas or khalas or hufas, didn't go to Hajj, you must make sure that you do a badal. You understand the badal? Badal is like an exchange Hajj. Another person does Hajj on his behalf after he dies. Or he doesn't need to die, he can be terminally ill. For example, a person's got cancer, he's at the age of 50, he's suffering terminally ill, chronically ill situation. You know he's not going to recover, he's going to die in maybe 1 year. Send someone else that has done his Hajj. That's a condition. Send someone else that has done his own Hajj. You can't send yourself if you haven't done your own Hajj. You must do your own Hajj, and then you can go on the Hajj of your father that has passed away that didn't do Hajj. Okay? But you must send someone in return of him, in exchange of his Hajj, because he hasn't done his Hajj. Whether he's terminally ill or whether he's passed away. Same with your dadas. If you had dadas, and your dada passed away, then inshallah you do it on behalf of him after you've done your own hajj. You must do your own hajj first. Then you can do it on his behalf, or send someone else. Send a Sasagorobai, send someone else to go and do the hajj on your dada's behalf. Okay? This is something extremely important. Many people neglect this and they think this is something minor. It's not something minor. It's something extremely great in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyway, let's go to the topic of today, is if anyone's children pass away. The first hadith, عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما من مسلم يموت له ثلاثة لم يبلغوا الحنثة إلا أدخله الله الجنة بفضل رحمته إياهم رواه البخاري ومسلم والنسائي وابن ماجه وفي رواية للنسائي. This hadith is on the authority of Anas bin Malik رضي الله عنه, that he says there is no Muslim that 3 of his children pass away before bulugh, before the age of puberty. So they pass away before the age of 10, let's say. You have a child that passes away inside the belly, miscarriage. That's one. That's included. Okay, by the way, miscarriages are included in this. Miscarriages plus died in their infancy, 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, up to 10-year-old. Up to 10-year-old, before they got to the age of bulugh. Because some girls, they age at the bulugh is at the age of 9 in primary school. For those men that don't know, must learn. Okay? The moment they start their periods, they're already baligha. They become a woman now. They're not a girl anymore. So 3 children of yours that passed away before the age of bulugh, before the age of 10. Let's give it a number for you to know. إِلَّا أَدْخَلَهُ اللَّهُ الْجَنَّةِ بِفَضْلِ رَحْمَتِهِ إِيَّاهُمْ. Except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter their parents, the parents of those 3 children that were supposed to live in this world, or were supposed to come into this world, let's say. Because some people have a lot of miscarriages, one after the other. Unfortunately, this is very common nowadays. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them, those parents, because it has a toll on your mind. It has a very severe toll on your mind, because you can't have a child. It's inside the womb, but then it passes away. It's inside the womb, it passes away. Again, that news hits you really bad. So, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His grace and through His mercy, He will enter their parents into Jannah. The children's parents into Jannah. This hadith is in Bukhari, Muslim, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah. And the extra addition in Nasa'i is أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من احتسب ثلاثة من صلبه دخل الجنة فقامت امرأة فقالت أو اثنان. Whoever hopes for reward to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is something that you have to keep in mind, that you don't just cry and cry and cry and cry to the extent that you lose hope. No. Here he says the condition is that you must seek the reward from Allah only. After your child passed away, you only hope in reward from Allah only. So meaning you don't despair, you don't lose hope, because everything that happens through Allah's hukum. Nothing on this earth can happen without Allah's hukum. Even me lifting my hand right now is only through Allah's hukum. Although you might think this is something simple. Many people, they once lifted their hands, they can't lift their hands anymore. Isn't it? They're paralyzed. Whose hukum are we in all the time? For us to walk, for us to crawl, for us to wake up from sleep, for us to do anything in our life, for us to go to the bathroom. If it doesn't come, we get stuck. Go to the hospital. Wait for 6 hours inside A&E. Isn't it? That's what it is. That's what it is. That's the reality of life. But simple thing like that, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stops, that's it. You're insan. You're weak. You're insan. You have to remember yourself. You are insan. You are a human being. You're very weak, very weak. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pulls one string, that's it, you're finished. All your shababiyat is gone. All your youthfulness and all your pumping inside muscle works, all gone, down the drain. Why? One pull of a string. Urine got stuck. Is inside the hospital for months and months and months. This is insan. So anytime that you think you're arrogant, and anytime you think you're all it, you're the don, Allah will show you what type of a don you are. Same thing with Israel. Whatever Israel is doing, he thinks he can bomb whoever he likes, however he likes. Isn't it? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah gives them that chance. Allah lets loose. Allah allows it to happen. Allah allows it to happen. So same thing here as well, inshallah. Allah allows your children to die because for them to become a means of your entry into Jannah. Your entry into Jannah. Allah wants you to go into Jannah for you to make sabr. وعن عتبة بن عبد السلمي رضي الله تعالى عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول ما من مسلم يموت له ثلاثة من الولد لم يبلغ الحنث إلا تلقوه من أبواب الجنة الثمانية من أيها شاء دخله رواه ابن ماجه بإسناد حسن. Here, this hadith, the Sahabi narrates from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he heard that a Muslim, there is no Muslim that three of his children, sorry, I didn't translate the previous hadith. The extra addition in Nasa'i was, even if the person has two, the lady came and said to Rasulullah, what about if a person, if a lady or a man as well, because the child belongs to both parents, if they lost two children, Rasulullah said, yes, even two. Even two children will admit him to Jannah, inshallah. Here, the hadith mentions three children. Lam yablughu al-hinth. They didn't attain the age of puberty. They didn't reach the age of puberty. Except that the child will be waiting for them on the 8 gates of paradise. Those children that passed away before the age of puberty, these are a means of your entry into Jannah from whichever door that you wish. How many doors in Jannah? 8. How many doors in Jahannam? Gates in Jahannam? 7. لها سبعة أبواب لكل باب منهم جزء مقسوم. So Jannah, why does Jannah have 8 gates? Allah's rahmah, Allah's fadl is more. Inna rahmati sabaqat ghadabi. Verily my rahmah supersedes, overcame my wrath, my anger. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah is always more. That's why we recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, the most kind. You see, those who translate the most kind, the most merciful. So he will, inshallah, this person, he'll be able to enter whichever of the gates of paradise he wishes as a parent. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how hard it is to be a parent, how difficult it is to raise a child. Okay? Anyone that's a parent can understand what effort it requires to upbring a good child. Not just any child. You can have children. Many people have, alhamdulillah, they have 5, 6, 7 children. But none of them are human beings. None of them are human beings. They all are on the streets. What? That's not parenting. That's not parenting. That's neglecting. That's neglecting your children to make them into monkeys. That's your fault. Your parents will be taken to task on the day of judgment because of letting your children loose, whether it's boy or girl. Okay? So here the hadith, the reward for the hadith is a parent who done his best. A parent who done his best, and he had the best type of, he wanted the children to have the best type of upbringing, Islamic education, for them to become good human beings, for them to become productive human beings. Not just any human beings. Anyone can create any human beings. It's easy. It's not a big deal, you know. But to create good human beings that everyone will respect, everyone will honor you, everyone will dignify you because of your children. Some people, their children are a cause of their disgrace in this world. They won't even open the door if you go to their house. The children are a cause of their disgrace. They can't show their face because of their children, because of their girls, because of their daughters that they've raised, because of the sons that they've raised and spoiled. They can't open their doors. They're your cousins, they're your relatives. They can't open their doors because of the shame that they have. Others, they are more proud. Why? Because they tried their best. They gave their life. Every single Friday, Monday to Friday, is going and sending them to Maktab. Every Saturday, Sunday is going and sending them to Islamic school. He tried his best as a father. She tried her best to give the best tarbiyah they could. And then if something happens later on in life, the child, he turned different. That's not your fault. You tried your best. You tried your best for 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, 18 years. You tried your best within your ability. If something else happens afterwards, the child turns in it and is going through different phases in life, that's not your fault. You done your best that you could, and everyone knows as parents, those who have done their best. and those who didn't do their best. خير إن شاء الله. Next one. وفي أخرى له أيضا قال أتت امرأة بصبي لها فقال يا نبي الله ادعوا الله لي فلقد دفنت ثلاثة فقال أدفنت ثلاثة قالت نعم قال لقد احتضرت بحضار شديد من النار. Here the next hadith narrates that a woman came with her little infant, little baby. She said, "Oh, the Prophet of Allah, make dua for this, make dua for me. I have already buried 3 of my children." Rasulullah said in shock that, "Have you already buried 3 of your children?" She said, "Yes. I have buried 3 of my own children that were young, that were babies." قال لقد احتضرت بحضار شديد من النار. You have made a extremely strong fort against yourself, like a wall against yourself and Jahannam. You've made a very strong wall against yourself and Jahannam, meaning you won't go into Jahannam. You won't go into Jahannam. This is what it takes. وعن أبي ذر رضي الله تعالى عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول ما من مسلمين يموت بينهما 3 من الولد لم يبلغوا الحنث إلا أدخلهما الجنة بفضل رحمته إياهم. This is a very similar hadith, that there is no Muslim, meaning this is regarding the parents, there is no parents that their children die before the age of infancy, before the age of puberty, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter them into Jannah with His grace and His mercy. In the narration of Abu Hurairah, it mentions, it will be said to them, "Udkhulul Jannah, enter Jannah, hatta tadkhula aba'una." Then the children, they come and say, "No, we will not enter Jannah until our parents go into Jannah." Until our parents go into Jannah. فَيُقَالُ لَهُمْ. Then it will be said to them, an angel will say to them, "Udkhulul Jannata antum wa aba'ukum." You and your parents go into Jannah. Meaning through their shafa'ah, through the intercession of the children, the parents will be admitted to Jannah as well. Because the intercession of children will be accepted. Just like the intercession of Anbiya alayhimus salam on the day of judgment, the prophets will be accepted. The intercession of the scholars will be accepted. The intercession of the Huffazul Quran, those who memorized the whole Quran and kept according to the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth, their shafa'ah is accepted. They can take 10 of their family members that are destined on the list of Jahannamiyun. On the list of Jahannamiyun, they can take those 10 out of Jahannam. This is why we respect Hafiz Sabs. Tarawih is coming, Ramadan is coming. Inshallah, those Hafiz Sabs, take care of them. وعن أبي حسان رضي الله تعالى عنه قلت لأبي هريرة رضي الله عنه إنه قد مات لي ابنان فما أنت محدثي عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بحديث يطيب أنفسنا عن موتانا. A Sahabi, 2 of his sons passed away. So he came to Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه to take the message of what did you hear from Rasulullah, because he was known to be a muhaddith. He was known to have memorized loads of hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So give us some pleasure, give us some comfort to our nafs. قال نعم صغارهم دعاميس الجنة. The little children that pass away are like the little, da'amis is like a creature that lives inside, small creature that lives inside the water. It cannot separate from the water. It's always with the water. That comes inside the commentary. It's like a small creature that's inside the water that cannot come out of the water. If it comes out of the water, it dies. Okay? Why did Rasulullah say da'amis? Da'amis because that child in Jannah will be in Jannah. It cannot come out of Jannah. It cannot come out of Jannah. It will always remain in Jannah. Always remain in Jannah. And it's small. That child will be small. That child died when it was 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old. That child will be small in Jannah. يتلقى أحدهم أباه أو قال أبويه فيأخذ بثوبه. He will meet his father or one of his parents, mother as well. He will take her by the thawb, by the clothes. You pull them by the clothes. أو قال بيده كما آخذ أنا بصنفة ثوبك هذا فلا يتناهى قال ينتهي حتى يدخله الله وأباه الجنة. He will pull them by the clothes. The child will pull the father and the mother by their clothes until he takes them into Jannah, until he enters them into Jannah. So this is the reward of a person, whoever, as a Muslim, they lose their children. Don't lose hope just because you're losing your children. In fact, these children are going to be your means to pull you by your clothes, inshallah, to paradise. Subhanakallah, we'll end there, inshallah. This riwayah is in Muslim. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka